Hey there, and welcome to the discussion series. I'm your host, Zulfury, and today's guest is the one and the only, the up-and-coming Philectic. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, it's Philectic here, and you may know me from my YouTube channel where I just do Let's Talks and just news updates for whenever I get them.
Alright, sounds good. Yeah, his channel will definitely be in the description below. And he is pretty new to the whole YouTube thing, so I figured I'd kind of give him a little bit of publicity when he's still new, because I wish someone had done that for me.
Indeed.
So anyways, what is today's topic, sir?
Today's topic is all about the Warrior. We're going to be going over basically everything we've heard from the Warrior so far and what we think about it and how it's going to play in the game. So,
Indeed. Alright, so why don't you give our, I suppose, listeners, because there's really nothing to watch, why don't you give our listeners kind of the basic overview of what the Warrior is?
okay, well, the Warrior has a lot of different abilities that it can use while it's playing. So it gains adrenaline, which is used to basically build up so you can do your ultimate attack, which is known as the burst attack. And each weapon has got its own set burst skill, which it can be used. So with this, the Warrior has a lot of weapons that it can use. It has the most weapons possible for the game. Each class has a set amount of weapons, and the Warrior has the most.
Yeah.
So the burst attacks are different for each weapon. So you have to build up your adrenaline and get the burst attack from each weapon, basically.
Right.
It also uses banners, which are kind of like a buff. So it gives a buff to all allies in the area and a debuff to all the enemies in the area. So so it's quite an interesting one, really, because you would expect something like this from the Guardian with all its auras on the floor and everything, but the Warrior can do this as well, and anyone can pick up the banners and move them around the field. So this one's quite an interesting topic, really.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, they kind of had to give the Warrior something for support, just because, I mean, they're your basic fighter. They have some ranged abilities, and they're good at them, but most of their weapons are melee, so they're all about, just getting in your face and bashing people's faces off. And they have heavy armor, and, I mean, they had to give them something for support, so these banners were just really fit the playstyle of the Warrior, because it's not like a magical aura or anything. It's a battle standard, because that really fits the Warrior, so I like that.
Yeah, I do think it's really good because it's the Warrior also has stances, which
Right.
I thought originally was going to be like the banner effect, where maybe you go into a stance and from you being in that stance, everyone around you gets a certain buff. But I do like the fact that they have done it for the barriers, so they give stances that little bit more of a personal feel to your
Right.
Warrior rather than having buffs everywhere, so you can concentrate more on how you're going to play your Warrior, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess moving on, what are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the Warrior? I would say that they're fantastic at the close quarters combat, the just brawling in your face. Just they're fantastic at that, and also decent at ranged. It all just kind of depends on how you want to play your Warrior. And like you said previously, they have a fantastic assortment of weapons.
Yeah.
What would you say for strengths?
For strengths, I think the fact that they have heavy armor and they seem, I don't know if any of the viewers have seen the PvP fights, but if you ever watch them, they seem really, really hard to take down.
Yeah,
And I think with all their different stances and maybe even the banners, I don't know how much they apply the buffs or how like powerful the buffs are, but they just seem like if you've got a Warrior in your group, people are going to want to take the Warrior out first. Otherwise, it's going to deal a lot of damage.
well, see, there's a flip side to that where they wouldn't want to take them out first because they're the hardest to kill.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, on the one hand, yeah, you take out the most threatening person, but if the most threatening person is also the hardest to kill, you might want to take out all of his buddies so he's less threatening.
Yeah. Plus, that goes on to the weaknesses, really, and the
Yeah,
fact that the Warrior isn't as mobile as most of the other classes.
right.
So, yeah, if you take out all its allies first, I suppose you can sort of kite the Warrior a lot easier than you can for an
Right.
Elementalist, for
It's
example, that's got like seems the Elementalist seems to have so many like blinks and teleports
Yeah.
and just it's insane. So I think the warrior's a bit outmatched there for mobility those.
Yeah, it has one leap ability, but um, actually, you probably don't need to have it targeted on anything. So yeah, it has like one leap ability, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it
And
has a charge type ability, but I think it takes quite a while. I don't think you can leap and then charge, for example. I think
oh yeah,
it shares the same sort of cooldown on the same
gotcha.
slot. So
Yeah. As far as other weaknesses go, I would say the warrior seems a little bit weak on the control side of things. Now maybe I'm just uneducated or something. I don't know, but maybe I mean I don't know. Just off the top of my head, I can only really think of the rain of arrows thing from the longbow that has that
yeah,
huge AOE fire thing. That's like the only thing I can think of for control. And for control, for those of you who aren't aware, the three roles in this game are damage, control, and support. Damage is your basic just deal damage, and the support is all about like buffing and um, brain fart.
yeah. It's like is support basically takes the tank role instead. So it's like what
Well,
you would expect from like to control the fight. The support allows the players. Well, I suppose it's not really tank. I suppose it's more the healer type. What you'd
well,
expect from other games is
to
like
be
buffs
honest,
and heals and
yeah,
all that.
to be honest, the these whole support thing is
Mm,
kind of broad because on the one hand you have your tanks which support the team, but then you
yeah,
also have your like healers and buffers which support the team. So
yeah,
that's kind of an interesting thing.
yeah.
But
That's
what I
true.
was saying about the control, the other one is the other role is control, and control is all about controlling, obviously, the battlefield by placing things down to prevent enemies from going in this area, placing putting things in other places to make your allies want to go over here. Um, it could actually be a really an extremely useful role to have somebody who's good at it. Like, let me cite for you the Guardian.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much about it because this is about the Warrior. But the Guardian has all kinds of, like, wards and things which prevent enemies from walking through them. So, those are fantastic control abilities. Um,
Yeah, I think the Warrior does seem to sort of, well, I wouldn't say inferior to the Guardian, but inferior in the fact that it hasn't got those sort of range of control abilities.
yeah.
Like it has its shields and it's has its banners, but it doesn't have like, the massive bubbles and massive walls of light that just block everyone.
Yeah.
So
Seem to be
maybe where
getting
it
a little
lacks
bit
in
of lag
control,
there.
it,
Yeah, you're getting a little bit of
okay.
lag, so we
Is
might
it
cut that out.
okay?
Is everything okay? Is your brother doing anything?
The bar's gone back up now, so has it picked up again or is it?
Yeah, you're okay. All right.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
pause and I'll just say that we had to cut for lag. Okay, so one moment.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. We were getting a little bit of lag. Had to kind of sort things out. So carrying on. I don't remember what exactly you were in the middle of talking about. So
Yeah, I think it was the fact that Warriors haven't got as much control as the
right.
Guardians, but I think they do pick up with their whole support, like with the banners and with the different stances they can use to sort of
Yeah.
defend everyone.
Yeah, I would
So
agree. Okay, terribly sorry about that. We had a little bit of a lag situation that we had to take care of, but everything seems to be sorted now. So I believe we were talking about the how the warrior was weak on the control side of things.
yeah,
Was there
they
anything
seem
else?
to.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think I was just talking about the fact that the Warrior has the stances and the banners, but I think they're gonna support them in groups, and they don't have the control they don't have anything abilities really for control. They more have abilities for support, and I think other classes will pick up. So they might be a bit weak by themselves, but I think once in a group, a warrior is going to be one of those classes that really pulls through.
Yeah. I don't know about weak by themselves. It's just that they seem to be very good on the damage and tankiness, and also good on the support. But I don't know. Maybe it's just that one ability that I can think of. I'm sure there's more, but it just seems like that one ability for that the longbow has that is really the only like huge main control type of ability that they have. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, we haven't had many skills shown to us through the Warrior, and not many people have been playing them. It seems
Yeah,
on these packs and Gamescom days. But
yeah. Well,
yeah, we'll have
because
to wait
they're
and see
old
it.
news, probably.
Yeah, and they're pretty boring class to play. So, well, not a boring class to
Well,
play,
no.
but they're
Yeah,
pretty standard
yeah.
class that
So
everyone seems to have.
I guess that leads very well into our next topic, which is it a good addition to the list of professions? Or do you think that they could have gone with a different or better profession instead of the warrior?
I think I do like the Warrior because I mean I'm planning on having a Warrior as my main, so
Oh,
I do hope it's going to be a the list of pool of professions is going to be good. But I think it is. I think for MMOs in general and the aesthetics of the MMOs, you have to have a warrior in there because even to the point of NPCs and just wandering around, if you don't see warriors around, then it's not going to exactly be the best like look for aesthetics in the game. So
yeah, I suppose. I mean, you kind of need your tanky slash melee slash DPS type of a profession. And yeah, they do have ranged, but come on, let's face it, that's not what the class is all about. It's not what the profession's all about. It's about just getting in your face and bashing people's brains in, pretty much.
yeah, exactly.
So, and
Yeah,
the other thing you got to consider is it was a classic profession in Guild Wars 1. I don't know if you
yeah.
played that game at all, but
Yeah, I've currently got a warrior. I'm going through a let's play on Guild Wars faction,
ah, sweet.
and yeah, I'm currently doing that as a warrior. So
Yeah,
yeah, but like I say, it's going to be a very different to every other MMO that we've played. So
yeah,
it's going to be quite interesting to see how warrior supports this
yeah,
type of
yeah,
combat system that Guild Wars 2 is putting out.
yeah. I was also, one thing I had thought of was that let's take. I know we've already talked about the Guardian a lot, but it's just such a great example for a lot of these different topics. Um, what was that?
That was just someone opening the door. So
Okay. We might cut that. We might not. I don't know. But anyways,
okay,
back to
sorry.
the. It's all right.
Oh
Uh,
dear.
Back to the whole Guardian example thing.
Mhm.
Um, they what ArenaNet did with the Guardian is they took this idea of this holy warrior, the paladin in most cases, and then took their own spin on it. Took that and added a lot to it and twisted it a little bit and created their
Mm,
Guardian. And they could have done something like that for the warrior. I mean, they were kind of limited in that it was a warrior in the first game.
mm.
But you know, they could have maybe done like a I don't know, maybe something like a vanguard or I don't know,
Yeah, I've
berserker or
seen,
something.
yeah, you see it a lot in other games where they try to put their own spin on it because the warrior
Yeah,
is so basic that you
yeah.
need to have that sort of originality to it. But
But
simply from the new combat system and everything, I think that the warrior's going to play a lot differently. But we haven't seen the last class yet, so we don't know if we're still going to have that sort of cleric or, like vanguard, like you say.
yeah, and maybe it was just that ArenaNet was like, no, our warrior is awesome. We don't need to change it at all.
Exactly, yeah. Because even though they've changed quite a lot, I think they've basically, everything they've done just makes sense. So they're building an MMO from the ground up. They're just sort of trying to redo everything.
Yeah,
And even though they're changing a lot, I think they've kept the core values that really create just a fantasy world. And the Warriors is one of those core values, really.
yeah, they really are.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I guess let's move on to what do you like slash dislike most about the warrior. And firstly, I would say they just look badass. And yeah, I don't know. You see a warrior and they're in there with their heavy armor and their awesome weapons, and you're just like, I am legitimately intimidated by that.
Yeah, like I say, I'm planning on having one,
Yeah,
and the reason being is just because I'm one of these boring guys who even though it's a fantasy MMO and I can just go along any path I want with different races and different go a bit crazy with my own character, I'm just gonna roll a human warrior because it's the closest to home, you
Yeah.
know. It's because I could actually be one. You know, it's one of those things where
Right.
you suspend you suspend your belief to a certain extent. So you're sort of playing a film, or you know, you're playing as a human basically and as a warrior.
Yeah.
So that's what I like the most about it. It's just
Yeah.
the fact that you know we can relate to a warrior the most.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess for other things that I personally like about them is they're fantastic at what they do, which is of course bashing people's faces in. But I don't know. I really just like the look and feel of the warrior. I mained a warrior in WoW for years and years, and I really
Yeah,
like. I don't know that it kind of really appealed to me a lot, just because it's I don't know. I guess I kind of relate to one
yeah,
sort of, but I think as I kind of grew up and discovered the paladin, I kind of more went towards that, and now I'll be maining a guardian, but. I don't know. I still really like the just the look and feel of the warrior, but as far as dislikes go, they seem a little bit sluggish to me. Now they're very powerful, so they definitely make up for it. But they seem like it's like they don't. I don't know. You look at like the thief or the elementalist, and they seem to be moving
mm,
around the battlefield a lot, and the warrior seems very stationary. Now that
yeah.
comes with the upside of the enemies not being able to move them, but I don't know. They seem to lack that mobility. Do you feel that way or not so much?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way. I mean, I'm quite into PvP in MMOs, and from looking at the PvP aspect that we've seen from Gamescom and PAX, the warriors seem really, really sluggish. I mean, if you get one on you, kind of like in other games, like in WoW, if you've got a warrior right next to you, then you're kind of screwed. But so
Yeah.
it seems like it's going to play the same. Like if a warrior gets in front of you, then you're just screwed. But like getting to someone as a warrior seems like it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
So I don't really like the fact that they're so slow, but I think that the damage output and their durability is going to make up for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely the durability. Yeah, and I don't know. That I guess that kind of wraps all of that up. I mean, you're definitely
Mhm.
gonna main one, but will I? And yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give it a definite maybe.
I
um,
think you should roll an Asura warrior just because it'll be the most hilarious
because that's awesome. Yeah.
character that you could possibly make.
No, I actually have my whole list of uh, race class combinations,
Yeah.
and Asura. I think I was gonna do engineer and necromancer, uh,
Ah,
and
okay.
warrior. I think I was gonna go human, just because humans. I don't know. Human warriors, kind of like what you were saying. It's kind of closer to home. It's what I can relate to.
Yeah.
And my main in Guild Wars 1 was a warrior. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
the
yeah,
best.
I guess mostly I'll just have to wait and see on that one. But for the most part, I like the warrior. I think it's a very solid profession. It definitely is good at what they want it to do, and I'd be very excited to get my hands on one and see if I would like it more than I currently think I will.
Yeah, because I'm like I say, I'm planning to make one, but I've been looking around at all these different classes, and I'm almost questioning whether to make one or not. But because other ones look, everything else looks so awesome. But I
Yeah,
think I will be rolling a lot of characters
yeah,
in this game, and like you say, the Necromancer is probably another one I might go for. But so
yeah.
far, it's the Warrior. From what I've seen, it looks like it's gonna be awesome.
Yep. All right. So any closing slash final thoughts?
On the Warrior, I don't know. I would just recommend everyone to at least give the Warrior a go. And
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's going to play really, really well in this game, to be honest.
yeah. And I
Hmm.
guess that just about wraps everything up. This is already
Yeah,
going fairly long, so yeah. So I guess thanks you guys for tuning in. I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. Um, you be sure to check out Philectic here at youtube.com/Philetic. His uh, channel is in the description, so definitely go click that and subscribe. He's pretty new, but he's pretty awesome, so you definitely want to go and do that. So
Too kind, too kind.
yeah. So anyways, you guys should know me by now. I'm Zolfieri, so you can click on my channel page and go subscribe. So yeah. Be sure to let
Awesome.
us know what you thought of this episode. Like it if you liked it, and dislike it if you disliked it. Um, and also leave a comment and let us know whether you'll play a warrior or not, or just your general thoughts on it. So I guess that's it for now. I'm Zolfieri,
I'm Philectic.
and I guess we'll see you around.
Yeah, thanks for watching,
We
guys.
will definitely see you around.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, bye.
See ya.